Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'd like to take a look at a Honchkrow rogue deck for the post-rotation format. So Honchkrow is a really fun single prize attacker, which has the really fun attack Rocket Feathers for 2 colors energy, allows you to discard any number of supporter cards from your hand with Team Rocket in their name, and you do 60 damage for each card you discarded in this way. And it does have a very nice partner in the form of Porygon-Z, which does 20 damage for each supporter card which has Team Rocket in its name in your discard pile. And then we do also play one copy of the Porygon-Z, which is basically the exact same attack, but just for 1 color less energy. So in case, we run out of triple acceleration energies, or, in case we can evolve all the way up to Team Rocket's Porygon-Z, then our command is quite useful to have. And then we can also use Reconstitute to discard Team Rocket supporters. But to be honest, I've rarely had to use Team Rocket's Porygon-Z. It's mainly just been winning games with Honchcrow and Porygon-Z as opposed to Porygon-Z, but, still worth including, I would say. Yeah, the main attacker, of course, being that Honchkrow. Now, you will have to discard a decent amount of supporters to KO certain Pokemon. So, typically, sometimes you'll just have to two-shot things. So, like, you'll have to set them up either with 200 damage, 240, like 200, well, 300 actually, I should say, is the next modifier up there. But, you can kind of see how you would be able to compete against much bigger Pokemon, because if you do, of course, get enough supporters, then you can go for those big one-shots. And then Porygon-Z can also, late game, you can just, boss Giovanni, well, not boss's orders, but you know what I mean. Use a Giovanni to pull up a 2-prize Pokemon like Pheasantipity or Ogapon to get 2 prizes that way. So that's kind of like how we're taking prizes here. Also, if you want to be really annoying, you can use Torment on Murkrow. So 30 damage, and then, you can stall out an attack. And if you can do this more than once, then that's effectively 60 damage, which is the equivalent of 1 Team Rocket supporters. So it's not like super critical, but I thought it was worth mentioning. And, if you have to go second, then you can maybe use this to KO a Buddy or something weird. But, kind of niche, but still a fun attack to use at the very least, and kind of useful. As for the trainers, though, we do have to play quite a lot of Team Rocket support. So we do play 4 of every Team Rocket supporter, which we can go through them very quickly. We've got Proton, which is the one you want to start with if you go first. So that's another thing with this deck, by the way, is you just always want to go first, because you have 8 ways of essentially getting those 3 basic Pokemon. We have 4 Rockets Receiver, and then we also have 4 Proton. So you may as well just go first with this deck. There's just no reason. Plus, you don't have any attackers going second apart from that single Torment. So yeah, just go first. It's not worth it going second. Yeah, Team Rocket's Proton, very, very good card. Just finds out team, well, the basics, basically. Just 3 of them. You could play Articuno if you really wanted to, but honestly, I haven't found it super useful. So, I don't bother with Articuno, but you could play it if you wanted to. I also play 4 copies of the Petrel. Search your deck for any trainer card that you need, which has cropped up as being quite useful. You can guarantee a Night Stretcher, which can guarantee you a Honchkrow, or maybe even just to get a Stadium to actually try and draw some more cards off it. So, Petrel does have its uses, but is often discard fodder, especially with Proton in the late game. Also got 4 copies of Giovanni, because we may as well play 4 copies. It's a supporter we have to discard, plus it's our Gust effect. So being able to play 4 Gust is really nice. It also does give us an option to switch out, which is really nice, because, well, I'd say as an option to switch out in general, because we don't have any switches or air balloons, full stop. So being able to do that when our opponent could, try and boss stall something up, then we don't want to waste precious special energy to retreat. So having Giovanni in here is actually really nice over just boss's orders. So that's something else worth bearing in mind. We do also play 4 copies of Ariana. Draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. And if all your Pokemon in play are Team Rocket's Pokemon, you draw cards until you have 8 cards in your hand. A very, very useful draw supporter in this style of deck, especially because of the fact that, Team Rocket's Honchkrow is discarding all those supporters. So we will thin our hand down very quickly, very fast. So having Ariana to draw back up to 8 all the time is really nice. So you do have to be careful that we don't discard too many of these in the early game, because that's something where you might find yourself going a bit wrong. I used to do that a lot when I first started playing this deck. I'd discard 2 or 3 Ariana and then realize, oh wait, I don't have any draw support for the rest of the game. So yeah, maybe don't do that. So we do have Rocket's Factory and Archer for some other draw support, but Ariana is definitely the best option. So very, very important card for this deck. Now, we do also have 4 copies of Archer, which can only be used if one of your Rocket's Pokemon was KO'd during the end of your opponent's last turn. But each player shovels their hand to your deck, and then you draw 5, and your opponent has to draw 3. So a nice little bit of disruption. However, this format is still very volatile, I think, in terms of draw power. things like Dunsparce, for example, or like Dracoloak, Pheasantipity. There are plenty of ways to like get out of dead hands. So like it's not as powerful as you might think, but it's still a nice bit of disruption. And if your opponent does need an awful lot of cards to potentially win the game, for example, or set up the next attacker, then this can be like decent disruption in that sense. So still, very good card. We'd also play Team Rocket's Factory, which is our stadium of choice, and also a way of always drawing 2 cards. Because we play 4 of all of the supporters, chances are we will be playing at least one of them every single turn. So just being able to draw 2 cards on top of that is great for Honchkrow. We'd also play 4 Transceiver. Makes sense, just extra ways of finding our supporters that we do need in our hand. We also play 2 Pokégear just because we don't have like more Transceiver. Like you could also play Roto Stick if you really wanted to, but I kind of prefer Pokégear just because it reaches a bit further and you get that choice. Yeah, you don't get to take as many as Roto Stick, but I just kind of prefer Pokégear. Like you could swap these out for Roto Stick if you do prefer them, but yeah, I'm more of a Pokégear fan. But it's still a good option though. Also got 4 Poké Pad in here. Search your deck for a Pokemon that doesn't have rule box. Spoiler, we don't have any with a rule box, so Poké Pad just makes the most sense. 3 Night Stretcher because we will want to recover some Honchcrows to attack with them because, our opponent will probably go through like a lot of Honchcrows and stuff, but being able to just get a Honchkrow back and not worry about trying to find it with like an Ariana or something is very useful. And we don't play like Ultra Ball, so we only have 4 Poké Pad and the Protons. So, something worth bearing in mind if you're trying to find Pokemon. We also play Miracle Headset as the ace spec of choice. Really the only deck I think Miracle Headset actually sees playing outside of like, I guess, the occasional niche control deck. But it does put up to 2 support cards from your discard pile into your hand. Very self-explanatory in why this is good in this deck. We can just get back Arianes, maybe even some more Giovannis if we had to discard some in the early game, or just some Petrels if we need to guarantee a Night Stretcher. Just a very useful, versatile card. You could, in some situations, if you're absolutely desperate, you could Petrel for a headset and then headset the Petrel back and then get another supporter and then swing for 120 if you were desperate for the extra 60 damage. But, you probably shouldn't be doing that, but if you had to, then Miracle Headset is still here. Great option. As for energy, though, we do play 4 copies of Ignition and then 4 copies of Team Rockets. I think I called this triple acceleration energy earlier because I'm still not used to it being a different card. But yeah, Ignition energy is really useful. It just means we can actually attack with Porygon-Z. But you can also use this to attack with Honchkrow. So we do want to be spending our Rockets energy on the Honchkrow, especially in the earlier turns when our opponent maybe isn't in a position to just take back-to-back KOs. But still, it's, you can mix and match them whenever you need them. But I will say triple acceleration energy, sorry, I did it again. Ignition energy is the name of this card, will discard itself. So, you do have to sort of be careful in that sense about when you decide to use them, basically. So that's just food for thought, when you're playing this deck, but just something I've found as well. But yeah, overall, I'd say Honchkrow is a very fun deck. It honestly has been a bit stressful to play sometimes because you're always trying to find enough supporters in your hand to do enough damage. So in terms of like a casual single prize deck, I would say like Typhlosion is a bit better in terms of being just a casual experience. But Honchkrow is still really fun. It's very challenging to play, and it's definitely better than Typhlosion, I would say, at this point. So yeah, a bit of a shame for Typhlosion. But yeah, Honchkrow and Alakazam are just like better decks overall, I would say. And then Okidogi is probably the best single prize deck in Standard, maybe. But yeah, still very good cards overall. And, I'm happy that we have a format where single prize decks can thrive. But yeah, it's been Ember Power. Let me know what you think about this deck down below. And yeah, thank you for watching. It doesn't feel great, to be honest, having to use Ignition Energy to KO Budyu there. But yeah, I would much rather have used like a Torment or something. But I'll take it, I guess. My opponent will probably respond with a return KO, which does give us 2 options, actually. We could either use Ariana with Transceiver, or we could go for Archer. So Archer might be the play, to be honest, just because, yeah, I'm kind of thinking that we need to disrupt them a bit, but they're also a very efficient deck, and my opponent didn't actually get the red candy. Okay, that's fine. That is good news for us. Great news for us, in fact. So we will be able to Porygon-Z up here. I will Pokégear first. I don't know what the correct sequence here is, actually. I mean, I will... Yeah, I suppose we'll Pokégear and see if we hit anything. I'll take the Proton, because we probably want to discard that anyway this turn. And then I will Transceiver for a Ariana. But we are needing to discard 2 supporters this turn. And also find an energy, so there's that problem as well. I will get a Honchkrow down, just so we have less problems to worry about, I guess. But yeah, we need 1 of 7 energy off this, which is a bit sketch, but we get it anyway, like the champ. Okay, we do want to be careful we don't run out of too many of these for Porygon-Z, but that's fine. We shouldn't need too many Porygon-Zs anyway. And then we can Rocket Feathers away some Protons, I guess. Discard these guys. 120, take a prize. And we do have Ariana for next turn as well, which is good. It's always good to have Ariana. We do even have Porygon-Z, so that's also a nice option. Although Porygon-Z does have an ability, which is a bit annoying for Frostlass. Okay, so here's the Grimmsnarl. It's a bit scary. We will probably have to 2-shot this, which gets a bit dicey because of the whole Monkey Dory thing. But yeah, they do also have Lopunny, which kind of sucks. Okay, there goes our stadium. I would assume they play a lot of Spikemuth anyway. So yeah, Lopunny is going to be a bit of a problem for us. Don't want to deal with Lopunny. Ideally, we just want to do like 2 prizes into Grimmsnarl and then like double Giovanni, really, for like easy KOs. But yeah, we'll see what they do here. They might target down my Porygon, actually. Yeah. A bit annoying. But we can respond with some sort of retaliation here. We can do a chunk of damage. Okay, we got a Petrel, that's nice. Stretcher for the Honch. So, if I were to play Ariana, I would only be drawing 4 cards, but I think that's better than risking it for their Archer, because like we desperately need the energy. So yeah, I think I will Ariana here. To no avail, sadly. Oh yeah, we just can't attack this turn. Actually, we might be able to. Maybe. Fingers crossed. Reconstitute. Proton Archer. Yeah, apparently we should have just shuffled. Nope. No energy. We can, at the very least, do this. So they're still only taking 1 prize, but that's kind of sucks, whiffing an attack like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose just after that, because this game is so volatile at this point that you have to attack every single turn to have a chance of staying in the game. So yeah, I'm not really sure how the game's going to pan out after that. I think having 8 energy in the deck is kind of a problem. Yeah, we only have 6 left anyway, so it's probably correct to just hit them with the Archer. I'm assuming they don't have much either, though, because they've not like done much with their hand. Like, we know they have Grimmsnarl, I guess. So yeah, Porygon-Z lives another turn. Gee, how much damage are we doing? 20, 40... Stop that. 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 900, 20, 40, 160? We could try get a triple E, I suppose. I think we just go for Honch. If I draw a triple E, though, I'm going to be very mad. And we'll stretch it for a Honchcrow. Get my boy out. We will do the Archer. If I draw a triple E, I'm not going to be impressed. It's a triple E. I knew it was. Oh, so we're just never attacking with that Porygon, I guess. Do we do enough damage this turn, actually? Not really. Could do 120. Yeah, I should have just risked it and gone for a Porygon-Z attack. I think whiffing energy the previous time was brutal, though. Yeah, I think that was rough. But yeah, we'll see what they do here. They're going to start moving into multi-price turns as well. So, yeah, and they're going to heal. Just evil cards in standard. I hate Munkidori, guys. I really hate Munkidori at this point. It's a cool card, I guess, but like it's just so annoying to deal with. It's just like, it feels like nearly every deck can just splash it in as well. Alright, Grimmsnarl charging itself up again. Alright, Harlequin. How much is my Porygon-Z doing? 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 220. So yeah, I mean, 220 plus the, what's the 90? Is not enough, actually. Yeah, we're going to be short because we couldn't do enough damage last turn. Oh, this hurts. Yeah, we're going to have to do 240 to this thing. Wait, is 240 enough? Yeah, no, 240 is enough. If it's not, we just cry. Right, we'll do this. Poké Pad. Kind of hope there's a Murkrow deck. There's not. It's fine though. Do we have a... Okay, we have a Stretcher left. That's fine. And we will Porygon. Actually, I shouldn't have benched that. That was silly. Yeah, why did I bench that? No, that was silly. Yeah, that was just my play. If I lose a game, it's just my fault at this point. Yeah, I shouldn't have benched that. Alright, we do get a Stretcher though, so we can get a Honch. Where is he? Murkrow, rather. But yeah, that was just silly. I don't know why I did that. Right, get the Murkrow down. Can draw some more cards. May as well deck out while we're at it, you know? Do I have any supporters left, actually? I do. Alright, we'll do Petrel. Alright, for a big 240. Bonk. And we get 2 prizes for that. Just 2. Alright, we prized a Giovanni, so there's that. 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 140, 150, 160, 180, 210, no, 20. Actually, you know what? We're just going to swing and hope for the best. We're just going to swing. You know, if nothing else, we're just going to swing. And if they have boss KO Porygon-Z, then so be it. But I don't think we're doing quite enough damage to deal with Grimmsnarl. Never mind. This guy just hates me. Why does my deck hate me? No. Why did they just have boss as well? Like, they just drew into that normally. Oh, man. Everything's going wrong today. Oh, well, whatever. Can't do much about that. I don't think we have, like, 5 supporters left in deck, I'm going to be honest. Transceiver. I'll take Ariana, I guess. If we get Miracle Headset, then, like, maybe. Actually, no, I don't think... Oh, no, we have to play a supporter anyway. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. And I don't think we can... Yeah. Never mind. We didn't even get the headset. No, we were nowhere close. Oh, it's a shame. Or actually, factory? I don't think this is enough. I think we are like painfully short here. And then we can... Oh, we do 300. Never mind. No, 300 is still not enough. I forget this thing is tanky. Why does this thing have 320 HP? That's so silly. Okay, so we were like one supporter left from doing it. Bit of a shame. But yeah, that boss's order is on Porygon-Z. Maybe we were doing enough damage, actually. We might have been doing enough. Okay, my opponent's just wasting my time. Goodbye. If you're going to do this, then sorry. I'm getting out of here.